Hey, it's Anna, and welcome back to my channel. So, today's video is my third and final July haul, so number 3. Let's just dive right in and forget about all the other crap. So, first up I have Afterworld by Scott Westerfield. It's about a girl called Darcy who writes like a YA paranormal fantasy book and then gets a publishing deal. So she gets enough money, like from the, whatever it's called, they give you money beforehand, whatever. Anyway, she has enough money to go to like New York and write for like 3 years instead of going to university like her parents wanted to. The other parallel story is actually Lizzie, who is the main character in her book. So we've got Darcy's story, and then we've got the story that she's writing. So Lizzie has survived a shooting, like a terrorist attack or something, in an airport, and to fool the shooters, she kind of plays dead and kind of wills herself to be dead, and then she finds herself in the afterlife, but she's not dead. And there's a hot guy who kind of guides her, so unclear about where the story's going to go after that point. The next book is called Unnatural Habits by Kerry Greenwood. I also have the Audible audiobook for it as well, so I can change. It's the 19th, I think, book in the Franny Fisher sort of series. So the mystery in this one is that pretty golden-haired pregnant girls are going missing from like Magdalen laundries, and Franny has to work out what the hell's happening. Where are they going? Who's doing this? Mystery. The next book is also from the Franny Fisher series. It's called Raisins Almonds. Kerry Greenwood again, obviously. I don't have the audiobook for this because it doesn't have like the whisper sync thing with Kindle, so should have checked that first. This one is about a poisoning, and somebody's wrongfully arrested and Franny has to work out what happened, and it's talks about Jewish politics and stuff in Melbourne in like the 1920s or something. So more mystery. The next book is The Young Elites by Marie Lu. I hope that's how you say it. Basically, a fever has swept the world, lots of kids died, but some of the ones who didn't apparently have like powers, which sounds very similar to the Darkest Minds. So haven't read that one like that either, so I have no idea if I'm gonna like it. So there are 3 main characters. There's like a main girl who's a young elite, you know, someone who survived the fever and apparently has powers. Another character I think is from like the Dagger Society, which is a group of these young people with powers who try to find and rescue and recruit other young people with powers. And then the other main character, I believe, is from like the Inquisition, who are trying to round them up and do God knows what with these kids. So lots of stuff happening there. Yeah, no, that covers it. The next book is Just One Damned Thing After Another by Jodie Taylor. It is the first in, I don't know what this series is called. There's a bunch of them. Anyway, the main character is called Madeline. She's a historian. She gets offered a job at like St. Mary's Society for Historical something. Anyway, and she gets there and she finds out that historians don't just study time through old books and whatnot. They time travel. And if you mess with time, time's gonna mess you up. Like, it will come after you. Time will try to wreck you. So you have to be very careful. Don't mess with things you don't understand. The next book is a non-fiction. It's called Shewolves, The Women Who Ruled England Before Elizabeth by Helen Castor. I don't know. I just watched a documentary that she hosted, like, narrated, whatever, about Queen Jane, or Lady Jane Grey, which I really enjoyed, so I thought I'd give one of her books a go. It is about 4 different women. Matilda, who was Holy Roman Empress, but she was a claimant to the throne of England during the Civil War known as the Anarchy, I think. Her father was King Henry the First, I believe. So, not exactly Queen of England, but oh well. The next one is Eleanor of Aquitaine, who's a bit more familiar to me. She was Queen of both France and England at different times, obviously. And the other two I don't really know that much about. Isabella of France, who was 13th to 14th century she lived in, and then Margaret of Anjou, who was 15th century. I like reading about royal women in history, so I'm keen to get into it. Doesn't hurt that 3 out of the 4 of them are my ancestors. Very distantly. I come down through the illegitimate line of, like, Edward the Fourth. Yeah. Oh, how far we fell. No, I don't. No. I just find it interesting because I can read about my ancestors. And if your ancestors weren't royalty or nobility, I kind of fall through the cracks, so I find that interesting. The next book is called Sugar, The World Corrupted from Slavery to Obesity by James Walden. So it talks about sugar life right from the beginning, you know, its cultivation, how the cultivation was based on slavery or indentured labour, which is basically slavery, and the fact that if we want to understand where our health crisis and that has come from, we really need to understand the history as well as just the biology of how it is destroying us and contributing to the obesity epidemic and dental decay and all of those sort of things. So I kind of like that approach, that, you know, you need to understand not just the, you know, basic biological processes, you need to understand the social history, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. Or words, even. The next book is called The Deadly Sisterhood. Sorry, I'm looking down because it has a big long subtitle I have to read. The Women Who Ruled Italy During the Renaissance by Leone Frida. So this is 16th century Italy. Kind of interested in that period, so I was like, yes. I don't know half these names, but I'll just kind of try and rattle them off as best I can. The first one is Lucrezia Tornabuoni, who was the queen mum of the Medici throne. Clarice Orsini, who was a Roman princess, Beatrice d'Este, I know the name, but I don't know why I know the name, Caterina Sforza, who was known as the Lioness of Romana or the Tigress of Forli, whatever you want. Basically, she kind of went up yours to Cesare Borgia when he was like, I'm gonna take over the whole bloody countryside. And she's like, you're not taking my goddamn fortress. You can keep my kids hostage, you can bloody kill them. I'm pregnant, I've got another one on the way. So, yeah, she was pretty cool. Next one is Juliana Farnese. Don't know anything about her. Isabella d'Aragona. And finally, Lucrezia Borgia, who was the daughter of a pope. I can't Pope Alexander the something, whatever. Anyway, he had kids and he wasn't meant to. So I know about a few of them, and I think it's a really interesting period of history, so I'm going for it. And I actually have a few more that aren't on my list, because I was naughty and I went and bought some more. I'm kind of in a history thing mood at the moment, so there's a lot of history books. The next book is called The Rival Queens, Catherine de Medici, her daughter Margaret de Valois, and the betrayal that ignited a nation or something. So basically, Catherine de Medici ends up marrying into the French royal family, so becomes a French queen. At this particular period in history, the Catholics and the Protestants are at each other's throats, and Catherine marries off her daughter Marguerite, who is Catholic, to Marguerite's Protestant cousin, Henry of Navarre. I don't know how to pronounce these things. He's like king of that area, and it's basically used as like a gigantic. They use the wedding basically as bait to get all the like Protestants there, so they can massacre them and slaughter them over the coming days and weeks. So Margaret's not very happy about this whole thing and defies her mother, and then they end up in conflict. So yeah, court politics, poisonings, international espionage, and adultery. So lots of fun stuff happening, and apparently it includes a fascinating array of characters, including such celebrated figures as Elizabeth I, Mary, Queen of Scots, who Marguerite actually grew up with. Mary, Queen of Scots, lived in like the same household as her, if I remember, and Nostradamus. So yeah, it's all happening in this story, and I don't know much about French history beyond the revolution and people having their heads chopped off. But I'm interested in Italian history, and I'm interested in Medici family, so it was a logical step for me. My next book is called Elizabeth's Rival, the tumultuous, I'm going to get this right, the tumultuous, wow, I think I did it, tale of Lettice Knollys, Countess of Leicester. I don't do English apparently either. So basically this woman letters, which was meant to be short for Letitia, but her family apparently found that too difficult to say, so they literally called her Lettuce. But not with a U, it's with an I, so that's okay. She's Elizabeth I's cousin. She lives a very long time. She pisses Elizabeth off by marrying the guy that Elizabeth kind of wanted. Robert Dudley. Oops. So, yeah, Lettuce has to deal with, you know, scandals and accusations of treason and all of those fun things. So apparently this book promises scandals of affairs and murder, treason, lots of people get their heads chopped off, and she lives to the grand old age of 91, which is pretty impressive for the 16th century, I think. Yeah. So, yeah, I've never heard of this woman, so I thought this was brilliant. Hello, Gizmo! Can you sit there? That would be great. And my final book, when I find it. Oh look, it's actually... Hello, Gizzy. Say hello. Hello! It's actually also by Helen Castor. It's called Blood and Roses. It is about a family called the Paston family, who lived during the War of the Roses in like the mid 15th century. And what is interesting about this family is they kept like hundreds of thousands of like letters and documents and stuff from this period, and it's basically unheard of. So you've actually got these family members, you know, writing to each other, talking about, you know, their everyday lives as well, you know, their feelings, the politics of the time when, like, where's my pencil? Okay, when everything was sort of up in the air and they were like two different factions sort of trying to put different kings on the throne. I'm very bad at the War of the Roses. I'm really... I get very confused by it. Anyway, it's kind of interesting to see like what a normal family was like during this period. They were obviously of a sort of higher social station, but they weren't necessarily key players in what was happening. So, that's my knuckle. That hurt. I was just helping. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just interested because it's nice to hear about everyday life, normal people, as opposed to super rich royal people who are trying to get thrones and kill each other off. So, that is my third and final July book haul. If you liked my video, give me a thumbs up. Even better, subscribe. Below, you're gonna fall off. Sorry. And if you want notifications for future videos, click the little bell thingy. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my video, and I hope to see you again. Bye. Say bye-bye, Gizmo. Bye-bye. Oh, you're so handsome.